When did you develop your framework around the circology? Where did you find this metaphorical connection?
Well, I was on various dating sites, and those dating sites kind of were interconnected. But the thing I saw was there were a lot of women that I was attracted to, but they needed to match with you before you could engage.
Yeah.
The ones I wanted to engage with often didn't reply, and the ones that did reply, I often didn't want to engage with, which happens to women as well. They always say this, oh, the guys I fancy never write back to me, and the guys that I don't fancy
Yeah.
always want to talk to me and take me out to dinner. So I thought, what can I do to get noticed? First and foremost, if you've got 100 guys saying hi, whether it's hi, you look nice, hi, you look sexy, hi, whatever one line question, whatever they say, you need to stand out. And if you're a woman, you need to stand out, and you also need to be respected. In other words, if you're saying hi to the guy or replying to them, you need to have something that they're actually going to reveal something about them. And so I thought if I use a sentence or a question that reveals something about that woman, then at least I've got a starting point to work from.
Yeah.
And I would look at the bio that, I'd say hi and they'd say hi back. And I'd look at the bio and I think, oh, wow, okay, you've got your own business. Um, you like this, you like that. Okay, I can work with that. Okay. And then I talk to the person and then I get a totally different personality come back. And I think, wow, this is the CV that doesn't make sense with the interview. You're
Mm,
qualified, but you're not qualified for me. And
yeah.
I think, wow, oh, how frustrating. Now I'm having to say to this person, oh, thanks for the conversation, but we're not really compatible. I don't know why, but we're not I thought we were, but we're not. So I thought I've got to devise a question. And I was fortunate that I was getting, let's say I was getting 10 replies and I had 10 nice people to choose from. How
Mm,
do I narrow that down to three potential dates? And that's when I devised the circus question because I thought I need a question that opens someone up. I need a question that reveals their dynamic to match mine.
mm,
And I thought to myself, where is the perfect place? The perfect work play environment where someone feels comfortable, but yet there's variety
yeah.
and purpose. Because I asked myself the question, I said, what would I be? And I consciously, ringmaster. Ringmaster because I like to be in control. I like to help people. I like to encourage people to be their best selves.
Mm-hmm.
Partner that's got ambition. So the ringmaster encourages the acts to be perfect. Be as good as you can be because we need to please the people and we need to make money and so my partner needs to be
Yeah. Also
fulfilling.
there.
They need to have
Oh,
their own career, their own purpose. They need to be strong, but I want to share,
the
communicate.
space. You said that you so
And it worked,
47.
by the way.
Oh,
That was
okay.
me. I went from three, four, five matches to hundreds in a month where people were engaging in the question, especially women. Obviously, from a woman's point of view, it was like, wow, how refreshing is this? I love this question. So they would tell me the truth. And I would be able to actually say to them, look, I love your answer, but we're not compatible for this reason. And
Yeah.
I would be polite and tell them why. And I built my methodology by understanding that creating this complex picture of polarity where
Yeah.
they were either at one end or the other. For example, if they were a lion tamer, they were too much for me.
Why? You say lion would be too much. Then who are you in the circus? With whom you are identifying yourself from the
Right.
circus team?
Because I'm the ringmaster, ringmaster,
Ringmaster.
yeah, ringmaster.
Okay.
On the polarity scale, ringmaster is the number seven. And we're towards the top, but we're close to the middle. From 3 to 7 in the polarity scale are the balanced acts. The balanced acts are the ones that share more of the leadership.
Okay.
So the ringmaster's a 7. So he likes to lead more, but he still shares.
Okay.
Acts lower than a 3 like to be led much more. The acts higher than a 7, 8, 9, 8.5, whatever, they like to control more. Now, when I say like, it's not just a like, it's a need. And we identify this by looking at the various qualities and traits. In my potential app, which is we're developing at the moment, there's a list of all the character traits of each act, which identifies with your character traits as a person. And in those character traits, we see them from a balanced relationship in your ideal relationship, and we see them from an imbalanced relationship or a dysfunctional one.
Yeah.
And for a lion tamer, if a lion tamer is in a balanced relationship where his partner is listening to him, doing as they want, which sounds really bad, but in a balanced relationship of a lion tamer, that's the only way it's going to work. If the partner is doing as they want, everything is harmony. When
Mm.
it's not, the main traits that come to the top from a lion tamer's point of view
Yeah.
are jealousy, insecurity, and toxicity. If the wife, for example, answers back to the lion tamer, and
Yeah.
I don't mean answers back because she doesn't deserve a voice. I mean answers back in the sense of, fuck you, I'm going out with my friends, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's just going to get jealous. It's going to push his buttons.
Okay.
And these are the kind of things, and these are the red flags that come out. So I've identified all of that. I've identified the love languages and I've identified the attachment theory styles as well.
Okay. So you were, when you were at 47, you were looking for the formal relationship, which can lead you to build the family, have the kids. Mm, okay.
What was
Why
she?
so late? Why so late you come up to this
Okay.
point? That's the question number one. And if you can give me just, yeah, the quick answer. Why so late?
Okay. I was an international DJ. I was traveling the world. I had a club promotions business as well.
Okay.
Um, had a very healthy business at the time. I was traveling the world and I had a partner for 13 years. We were together, we got engaged, and we were going to get married and have kids.
Okay.
When we decided, right, time to settle down and have kids and get a house and proper set roots, my business collapsed completely from under my feet. A multi-million pound business became zero overnight. I lost a lot of money. I lost all my foundations in respect of, opportunity to actually grow a family because I didn't have any money and I had to start from square one again. With her, it wasn't a case of break up because we stayed together for another 6 years.
Okay.
So I lost my business and we tried, but the relationship changed because I had depression, hence courage, my chapter in courage. I had to start from scratch again. I had to rebuild my confidence. I was avoiding people. I was quite well known. I was TV, I was on radio, I was in magazines as a persona. I had to reinvent myself. And so that knocks your confidence to the point where you don't want to go into public anymore. And
Hmm.
the same with my partner. She was suffering from, the knock-on effect. And
Yeah.
we both were in a dark place. Hers, unfortunately, developed so badly that we found it hard to communicate. She developed OCD. I
Okay.
found it difficult to deal with. And then we both grew apart
Hmm.
to the point where we lasted 2 to 3 years, literally separate lives within the same home. We didn't have separate relationships. That was
Yeah.
something I wouldn't do. I wasn't interested in having a side relationship
Hmm.
living with her.
Yeah.
But eventually the camel broke, the straw broke the camel's back, and I left. I left her the home. I left her my possession. I left everything there. I gave her everything that I had at the time, and I moved out to actually fix the relationship. I thought if I move out for a couple of weeks, she will realize that we've got a problem and we will try and fix this.
Mm.
And the distance allowed me and her to realize that we weren't truly compatible. And when we broke up, I decided, well, the next relationship, that was 13 years, the next relationship needed to be the one from my point of view. So I
Yeah.
wasn't going to have fun. In fact, for 2 years, Magdalena, which is actually interesting, I needed to find myself.
After 13 years, which is very long time of being in a relationship,
Hmm.
did you take a break for yourself or immediately jump on the dating apps?
No, I took a break, absolute break. I I was devastated because, as you said, 13 years, I loved her. I still have love for her.
Hmm.
Not the same love as in relationship, but I still have love for her because she's a lovely person. You know, all my relationships, the former ones, have been great. As people, I can't complain. But I realized when we grew apart, you can't sustain a relationship just on whether they're a lovely person and you're a lovely person. You have to have a bit more, whether that's career, whether that's kids, whether that's values, whatever it is. It's never going to be perfect. Let's be clear. It's never going to be perfect. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, I when I broke up with that relationship, I worked on myself because I was the common denominator of all my breakups. I've been engaged, married 4 times, engaged, married, yeah, not
Yeah.
four married. And I found myself. I've got to work on me. I've got to work on my needs. That's why I'm able now to help
Yeah.
people identify their needs, not just their wants. Wants are superficial. We all want 6 foot guy. The reality is most guys are under 6 foot. Are you going to dismiss a 5'11" guy that's perfect for you? The answer is no, because he meets your needs. Instead of looking for Miss Beautiful and Perfect and then trying to make her the perfect person for me, I felt I need to be as perfect as I can be and attract likewise.
At certain moment when you have decided to set up and settle for life, for building the family, you are having this negative experience of losing everything. Then it's I believe, a very important element of any kind of relationships, finance. If you do not have a strong foundation, if you are not a friend with your partner, if you don't know the value and respect that value of each other, the financial problems are coming always,
Mhm.
can come at any time.
Absolutely.
The way how you carry that problem will depend how strong foundation you have.
One of the nice things about my relationship now is that I'm with a partner that um, values me, not what I have. It's not that my previous partner, I had something and that's what she wanted. Not that at all. In fact, I met my previous partner from the 13-year relationship because I had a gap of 13 years, then a break, 5 years,
Okay.
and then met my wife, my now wife. Okay. In that 5 years, I did a lot of work on myself. And then I started dating. In fact, I didn't, I'm going to say this, I abstained from sex for 2 years after I left my 13-year relationship
Wow,
because I
that's
didn't want,
amazing.
well, it was meant to be, I put a year on it. I thought I'm going
Mm.
to try and abstain for a year because look, I love sex. We all do.
Yeah,
I say that was my problem. I would connect with someone, have a physical relationship, and then I would find it hard to walk away. Because if the sex is good, that's the glue that holds me together.
that's true.
There's other things. But I felt, look, I'm not going to prioritize sex now. I'm going to prioritize something more. Yes. And it didn't mean, by the way, it didn't mean I wouldn't have sex on the first date. That doesn't wash with me. With me, if there's a connection and we both want to, we're both adults, we do it.
to it. But interesting is because even from your perspective and from your story, you are walking evidence that the things and all the qualities we are talking are important for us and possible to achieve a healthy relationship. Walk away from the relationship, give yourself time. 2 years, you said you wanted to have 1 year, it landed into 2 years. And
Interesting. 2 years.
this is interesting how much really time we need to calm and I don't know, get to know yourself better. Why 2 years? What took you so long?
I expected a year. I only put a date on it. I didn't actually put a fine date on it. Like I said, I just look, I broke up, let's say I broke up in August and I thought by next summer I'll see, I'll sort myself out, whatever. Also, I like the idea of sorting myself out with some kind of finance. I didn't,
Okay.
I wanted to try and build myself back up in some way, shape, or form. So focus on work. But anyway, what I found when I decided I'm going to start dating now, and I went on the apps and I went out with family and friends who were quite a bit younger than me, because most guys my age at 47 were were married. And if they were going out, it wouldn't have been right for me to go out looking for women with a married guy. So it often was with my friends and associates that were quite a bit younger, maybe 30, 35, whatever. Long story short, I found myself in a situation where everyone I was talking to, because I'd done work on myself, I wanted deeper conversations. I wanted to interview them. No one was good enough for that role. Does that make sense? In a bad way, I was looking for the person that was going to fulfill me and I was going to fulfill them, but I couldn't find them anymore. Now, you could argue, was I being too selective? Yes, damn right I was. I was being selfish with what I wanted and what I needed, but I wanted their selfishness to match mine. Selfish is not bad. I was being selfish in my needs, and then I found myself, okay, let's say a year came and I thought, I'm going to go out and I'm literally going to get laid. No chance.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening. Not because I wasn't meeting people that wanted to have fun, but on a formal basis, I didn't want to just have fun with anybody. And I found myself in a situation where I've been more selective in a better way. And it became actually empowering for me.
Hmm.
I thought, oh, I've turned the corner here. I'm no longer just giving into that physical need. I'm actually being selective, and I found it better. And I found it better, easier and harder, but easier to say no. So if I was engaging in a conversation with someone online and they
Mm-hmm.
weren't meeting my criteria, it was easy to say no, but it was also refreshing for me to say that to them and give them the encouragement to go find what they needed,
Yeah.
hence the coaching.
Okay.
And when I was coaching people, I was learning more about myself through them, which is
Okay.
often what most psychologists and most coaches will tell you. They got into psychology or whatever to learn about
And
themselves.
you met your wife on the app, dating
Mhm.
app. Did you use your knowledge about wise interviewing?
Absolutely. Interesting point. Um, I I messaged her. Well, actually, she messaged me first.
Okay.
She saw the bio and she messaged me and said, "Listen, hi, you seem like a really interesting guy." And at this point, I'd also had in my bio that I'm coaching people and I'm helping women and I'm helping blah, blah, blah. So I actually put that as part of my profession. And she wrote back, she said, "You seem like a really interesting guy. I like your photos, not because it wasn't just photos. I was also, I'm blessed to be a portrait photographer as well,
Mm-hmm.
able to actually take a decent photo of myself, the selfies. But anyway, so she said, I like your photos. I like what you're saying. And you seem like an interesting guy to have a conversation with."
Okay.
And I saw her. I hadn't, this was before I was actually engaging with properly saying the circus question to people. It was before I started posting that as my first question on this site, but actually on this site. And my first thing was, right, okay, thank you very much. Can you answer this question? And she did. And then I thought, okay, that's an interesting choice. And why? She was contortionist. Actually, she was trapeze stroke contortionist.
Ah, so
And
you went like straight forward with your circus questions.
oh
Who are you
yeah,
in the circus? Oh, wow.
yeah. Oh, exactly as I asked you. That's evolved, by the way. That's evolved over we're going back 15 years. That's evolved from direct question to indirect for the two reasons I told you earlier,
Yeah.
unconscious, conscious and unconscious.
Okay.
Um, and she answered, and I thought, you know what, as a ringmaster, I can be with anybody, but I don't want to be with anybody that's going to cause me attrition. And I found with people that wanted to lead more than me, I found we were butting heads.
Oh, wow.
And I found with people that wanted to be led totally by me, it was too much of an effort to bring them along. So I wanted someone that was balanced. And between 3 and 7, they're balanced.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm a 7. So ideally, I want a 3 or a 4, and my partner's a 4. So we're an 11. So we're close to 10. So we're close to the perfect. So we're quite a balanced relationship. Now, this is the fun part. She was quite a bit younger than me. And the first thing I said to her was, well, you're quite a bit younger than me. You seem like, I'm looking at her pictures, looking at her bio, you're a lovely person. But, you're kind of too young for a relationship. But I'm happy to help you if I can with the coaching. And the first thing she said to me, well, is why do you think I'm too young? Number is just a number. I'm very mature. So I thought, okay, we're going to interview to prove if you're going to show me that you're mature, then we'll discuss and take it further.
Wow. It's completely non-romantic approach, huh?
Well, non-romantic in the sense that we were both on the same page because she did exactly the same to me.
Wow.
First question she said to me after we discussed the circus question, I gave her the analogy because I felt I don't want to waste her time, but I also want to show you the power of this system that can help you going forward, whether it's with me, I saw it without me, helping her find herself. Because I thought, what a lovely introduction she wrote me. It wasn't just, hey, sexy. It was really quite, um, it was thought out and it was very eloquent. And I thought, blimey, from a younger person who it put this so well. I was coaching people and they were not putting it as well as that. And I was like, wow, where did you pick this up from? Anyway, the first thing she said to me was, thank you for giving me your analysis. You've got me. That's spot on. That's exactly what I am. Um, can I ask you a question? I said, okay. She said, have you got kids? Because I hadn't put anything in my bio about kids or wanting kids.
Mhm.
And I said, no. And she said, do you want kids? And I said, yes. And she said, good, because so do I. And I went, okay. So we immediately got that was the elephant in the room, gone. We both want kids. Important. She was quite
Yeah.
a bit younger. I'm quite a bit older. On paper, you would say that wouldn't work. Anyway, next, are you mature enough for me? And am I young enough in spirit for you? Because
Mm.
you're 47, you can't be with somebody, I'm going to say half your age,
Yeah.
who is nowhere near as mature as you. But you also
That's
can't be
yes.
too mature for them. If you're going to meet halfway, fine. If you're going to meet at 35, 32, 35, at the age we were, then you've got a relationship possibility. It took us a month to meet physically.
Okay.
Surprises a lot of people because we interviewed for a month. We got to know each other as friends for a month. Why?
Mm.
Because we went with the flow. We both felt the connection. But I felt I don't want to jump into this from a physical point of view. And I don't want to take advantage of her being attracted to me. She didn't want to commit to my situation in case I was deceiving her.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not really a single guy. Maybe I am, I'm not saying it as it is. So we played this game of cat and mouse, not game of cat and mouse, but the interview of speaking, learning about each other, deciding to meet each other when it was correct and right. And that took a month. But equally, and I can say this from the day we spoke on the text
Hmm.
website to now, we have spoken to each other every single day for 9 years. That month, we had communication every single day. There was not like, oh, I'm going to go off and date someone else
Oh,
and
yeah.
come back to you. It wasn't that I had committed. I was still talking to people and whatever. It was a case of becoming friends before we became lovers. But that worked for us. If I'd have met her in a bar or in a club, we may have slept together from the first date.
Yeah.
That may
But
have happened.
most probably you would not develop the part that you have developed through that month's conversation of hidden interviewing, let's say, right? And now you are happily married. Now
Yeah,
you are happily married. So definitely the interview strategy worked well. And how many kids you have?
three,
3 kids.
three under six. Yeah, three under
Unbelievable.
six.
So
Wonderful, wonderful,
congratulations,
healthy kids. And I'm like, well, listen, I couldn't be happier. We couldn't be happier.
right? Now
We've
you are about to launch your, because we were talking about the circus and maybe not enough. I was talking about your application that you are about to launch, but definitely your Circology framework is working. It's smart and I think it's wise for any kind of age people. If you don't want to waste time, use the Circology and the analogy of us as a yeah, employees of circus app, how application will help
yeah.
people.
Well, the app itself is an assistant when you're dating. Okay. It's your reference book. Instead of, I mean, I
Okay.
was going to write a book and you could literally a coffee book, coffee table book where you could, when you're dating, you're going online, you're asking the question or you ask yourself the question first. If you haven't heard it already, you open the book, it has the question, you write down your answer at the back, you identify your role, then you go into the index, you look at the index. This is how the app will work. You go into the index
Okay.
and it has 50 choices. It's roughly 50 odd choices, believe it or not. And in an A to Z format, for example, acrobat, aerial trapeze, anti-circus activist, that is a choice.
Oh,
That is a
okay.
choice. Because you do get people say to you, I don't like the circus because of the way they treat animals, and I would never be in the circus. And that's my answer. So that would be the anti-circus activist. And that is a role in itself. And that kind of person has its own characteristics, traits, and values.
Okay.
Obviously, they believe certain things about society and they hold things to be true and they're very independent. So you understand the analogy there.
Yes.
But that is a choice in itself. And I've come across that many times. And people go, oh, I'm smart because, yeah, your question didn't work with me. And I say, hang on a minute. This is what it reveals about you. And you
Mm.
need a person that respects your values. Yeah. That kind of person is probably an environmentalist. They care about
Mm.
animals. They care about the world. So they would want someone as a partner that also does that. And they'd be very, very important. Those needs would be very important for them. You get me?
Yeah, yeah.
So the choices are listed. You pick the choice. It takes you to the page where it defines the template, defines the choice. For example, your choice of clown, it will tell you your qualities in a balanced relationship, your
Mhm.
qualities in imbalanced, toxic relationship. It will
Okay.
tell you your love language. It will tell you your attachment style,
Hmm.
what to look for in a partner. And there's a conclusion, a summary that will say, these are your traits. This is what you're about from the question. This is what you need. It will give you a numerical number to your choice, which yours is 8.5. And
Hmm.
it will say to you in the further pages, it will define how it works and what you're looking for. So when you then go on a dating app or you meet someone and you ask the question, you can even show them the question or from your phone and say
Mhm.
to them, look, the app, I'm looking at it being free initially for being able to use it. Not sure how we're going to monetize exactly. Discussing it with the producers of the app, but the idea is to get a lot of exposure, a lot of people using it, helping a lot of people, so that it gains traction and it's out there. Because really, I want it to be working for a lot of people. Because it worked for me, it works for hundreds of my clients, and because it's so simple, it reveals so much about a person that I think people misunderstand how complicated it can be. That how complex the information it reveals from one
Yeah,
simple question. And if
complex.
you're working with men, when you're working with men, as a woman, you need to identify as many red flags as possible before you commit to anything, even at the dating stage,
Yeah.
before you go on the date, to not waste your time. And
Women quite often waste too much time just because we are not having this structured ideas how to manage, how to, again, you say manipulating, I say moderating the early stages of conversation just to see who is opposite me. And I think the characteristics that you are describing around the people who are performing in the circus, inside and outside, even the one that is saying, "Oh no, because I don't like what they do with the animals." So the green, yeah, community
yeah,
that, "Oh, I
exactly,
don't like that,"
exactly.
and there will be also um, another levels of characteristics. But it's very complex. The whole approach of your Circology is very complex. It's not focusing on one to point one thing, but also showing it is helping you identify some areas within you. And eventually, if you are not satisfied with the result, there is a stage you can work on them and you can redesign, develop them. Like, yeah, with my character, as I have to check the name, but with my character, it's kind of attention, right? As well. There will be somewhere a percentage in this whole pool, the matter of attention. And it's not a weakness. The things that we, from the sociological perspective, we will say they are weak. No, they are opportunities for you to grow in a different way. Like, for example, for years, I was hungry for attention, to be seen. Now, I am no longer, right? But
Yes.
there will be other elements that still will shake um, my needs.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, there's two issues, two comments I'm going to make here with the circus question. The Often people say to me, "Okay, this is my answer. What's the best answer? Like, what's the right answer?" And there is no right answer. It's the right answer for you. And I've used this analogy before. People say to me, "Well, does this thing work? What's the science behind this? What's the data?" And I say, "Okay, I come from an artistic background, or architecture. I'm a creative person.
mm,
I look at things from a, a wider point of view, a wider perspective. I don't look at things as black and white. For me, science is black and white. Love is wide. You cannot explain why you are in love with this girl or this person
that,
and not in love with that person. We can't put a science to it. So therefore, the circus question is not science. It's a bit of both. But the creativity behind it is like this. Our unconscious selection, our unconscious needs are something we can't actually put our finger on. It's a bit like if I've got a painting, for example, an abstract painting on the wall there, and I say to you, "What do you see in that painting? Do you like that painting?" Your answer might be No, it's disgusting. It's rubbish. It's just a red square. I don't see anything in that. And I'll say to you, well, I actually see emotion and passion, and I can. Our subjective view is completely different, and that's how we view a partner. If I apply the circus question as I would in, birth signs in astrology and synastry, which is the compatibility of certain birth signs to each other, right?
Yeah,
That's an ancient system that people live and die by.
yeah,
It's become very popular with Gen Zs and Xs and whatever because people want something that's going to give them a head start. They want something that's going to give them the opportunity to grow something from a good foundation. That's what psychology does. It gives you the opportunity to say, right, there's a really good possibility here that you are going to work with this person as opposed to that person. But you need to communicate really well. And I've got three C's to give you.
mm,
Communication is key to identify compatibility, and that's the only time then that you compromise. Once you're compatible, that's when you compromise. So if they leave something, the toilet seat up or the toothpaste lid off, that's when you compromise after you're compatible.
yeah. With the picture of the circus and psychology, your questions, I definitely have no doubts that people will be, yeah, waiting for this application because it
Hopefully.
will help. It will help to understand the dynamic in life. It will help to understand yourself because it is kind of indirect analysis of yourself. So without making again bad experience, you can see, oh shoot, what's wrong with me?
Exactly that. And interestingly enough, when people answer the question like you have and they identify their role, what I say to them is, for example, you do not date lion tamer or another clown for you.
Mm,
And
yeah,
they'll say, why? And I say, okay, I'll send you the template of the lion tamer and the clown for
yeah.
you to read and imagine that's your partner. And the first thing they say to me is, oh my God, that was my ex. That's why these traits, these qualities are exactly what I found irritating. And I say to them, okay, well, now you've identified what you found irritating, and it sounds very obvious when you're seeing it as a template, as a written down list of things. It's easier to identify than someone saying he was just a toxic narcissist. I mean, the word toxic and the word narcissist have been bounded about today like anybody, like anything, and it's wrong. I think narcissism is in all of us. We all like to look at ourselves and imagine that we're the best version of us. We take pride in our appearance. There's Narcissism doesn't necessarily mean nasticism. Nasticism is a different word. Yeah, it's a toxic narcissist. That's a different dynamic. And I think at the end of the day, once you're aware of these traits, it's easier to see them. Yeah.
Before we finish, I have some quick questions for you,
Okay, fire
just
away.
to like for our audience and also for us. What's a book besides your own that has significantly impacted your life or career? Do you have one?
What book? Wow, so many. I actually yeah, there's so many. I think I have to reference David Data's Way of a Superior Man. Um, Partly because it opened my mind to understanding masculine and feminine essence. And I think I've taken it a stage further. And I've got another chapter coming out in a book in January. I think the book's going to be called The Coaching Corner by
Okay,
publishers. And again, it's another collaboration, so look out for that. Um,
amazing.
and
Congratulations.
thank you. Where I discuss the, my process and how I came about it and what I do um, in more depth than the courage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I discuss masculine and feminine essence and how important that is to identify our role.
Okay.
And that was the first book that actually brought that to my attention. I've since looked at Carl Jung and his understanding of animus anima and
Okay.
the roles of masculine and feminine essence that he talks about. Again, we have a different understanding, but I felt that it was important to develop this process so that we can apply masculine and feminine essence to the modern dating system. Masculine and feminine essence doesn't have a gender, really doesn't have a gender. And my app will be for everybody, gay, lesbian, straight,
Uh,
fluid. You can apply psychology to everybody. In a gay relationship, whereas a man and a man, the traditional values of masculine feminine essence still exist. Yeah. People always
that's
say,
true.
oh, a man and a woman. Well, what about with two men or two women?
What's the one piece of advice you would give yourself, younger one?
To follow exactly what I did, because I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't. And I'll be honest with you,
Beautiful. I love it.
I have often had this in my mind where I think, do I have any regrets? That's really what you're asking. Do I have any regrets? And if I could go back in time, have you seen the blue door, red door? Would you give yourself the blue door going back to when you were 21 and give yourself the advice now you're say 50? Yeah.
Mm,
You take the red door, which has got $10 million. And the answer for me would always be take the $10 million. Because if I went back to where I was when I was 21, knowing everything I know now, because I'm in a good place, I would want to be exactly where I am now with the
mm,
10 million.
amazing. What's your go-to productivity hack?
My go-to productivity hack. Interesting question. Um, do you know, I meditate quite a lot.
Okay.
And I meditate when I'm in the sleep phase. And if you're familiar with the silver method of meditation and understanding, connecting with the creative process of the mind in the theta phase, I don't know if you're familiar with this. Your most creative time is when you're in that partial deep sleep.
Uh-huh.
And I solve problems by tapping into that. I won't go to sleep. I'll go to bed and I'll lie there and I'll think about issues and I'll think about how do I fix this problem that I've got, you know, psychology being one of them.
Okay.
How do I define this? How do I work on this? And I will figure it out in my productivity phase of half asleep. And I'll wake up and I'll know that's it, I've got it. And I'll type it out in my notes in the morning and then I'll transfer it to my laptop. Believe it or
Amazing.
not, that is sometimes the most productive time. And also when I'm driving or I'm running or I'm walking,
Okay.
I'm in a state of kind of meditative production. That's my mantra. Go with the flow. Give the universe
Amazing.
a chance to show you what they're trying to show you. Because I think that's the key. A lot of people meet their person, and we'll talk about dating now, and miss the opportunity. And I often hear a story where someone says, oh, I met this guy, it might have been a holiday or it was, in the supermarket, and we locked eyes, and for some reason we connected, but we didn't connect. Now, I'm not saying immediately, go, hey, I've got to talk to you, give me your number, or let's exchange. But that can be the moment. And you've got to recognize and embrace
At
it.
that moment, yeah. What's the best piece of advice you have received?
Allow the universe to take you, to
Okay.
guide you. Yeah, that was given to me. That was advice that was given to me. In fact, believe it or not, by an ex-girlfriend who we broke up. She's now a medium. She's we call them sensitives. She writes about spirituality, and she wanted to go on her journey around the world to develop that spirituality. And that's why we broke up. We didn't break up as friends, we broke up as partners. So we're
Wow.
still
That's
connected.
beautiful how you say we broke up as partners. That's so elegant to say that.
Obviously, it wasn't, I'm not going to lie, at the time it was confusing because I did it amicably, but I did it thinking, why? not I did it. It wasn't up to me. It was up to both of us. But she
Yeah.
said, this relationship, I love the relationship. I love being with you, but I need to do this for myself. And at first I was like, are you crazy? What? Are you crazy? You're going to break up with me? We're going to break up. And she said, no, we need to break up for this reason. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay. I believe you need to go and find yourself. You need
Beautiful.
to do this. And she did.
I
Now,
think it requires a lot of maturity to even have this kind of difficult conversation on a right level. Many of us are still not able to have this courtesy, to have good sound conversation. Last final question, Andreas. Looking ahead, what's your goal?
well, my goal is to inspire people to find the ideal relationship they deserve. And obviously, I'm coming from a woman base because I'm helping women. And people say to me, why don't you help men? And I say, look, I really strongly believe that women are the stronger party. I really, as a man, women being the feminine essence. Okay. So I am in tune with my feminine essence. And I understand from that point of view, I want to help the feminine nurture, grow, and evolve better humanity and relationships by helping them identify a process to find what they want and what they need. So
Beautiful.
i- if I can help one person, help another person, that will just grow. And do you know what? It's not it. Yes, of course, I want to make a living and I want to be content that I'm actually doing this and can afford to do it. But do you know what? It's about helping people. It's not about the money. There's other
Mm.
things I could do to make a lot of money, but this is so satisfying that when I get a positive result and people come back and go, oh my God, this really worked for me, that is so satisfying that they can pass that on to future generations. And ideally, I'd want them to, I don't need them to teach my system in schools. I
Mm.
want schools to help people with relationships, irrespective of whether it's my system or another system. We need to help kids. I've got 3 kids of my own now, and I want them to learn to avoid toxicity.
Your Circology is offering to evolve process of thinking and extend that to a really great piece of knowledge about yourself and then your surrounding environment. Because
Yeah.
I think Circology is not just for dating, it's about understanding your family dynamics, understanding your friendships, why you are choosing these kind of people, why you are hanging with these kind of people, the workplace. So it's starting point dating, but
Mm.
from my perspective and all what I have learned from you, it can be easily
Yes,
used for other areas in life, how we
absolutely.
build the connection with other people.
You know that you may be familiar with the Myers-Briggs system of a compatibility system, 16 character traits. Or, I'm not quite sure. I think it's 16, where you have letters of, that associate a certain person, E, P, N, G, and that's your title, and then you take that and apply that to someone else for compatibility purposes. But you have to answer about 40 questions to identify
Yeah.
that. Um, what I would like is something simple like psychology, where you can ask one question, identify someone's role, and and like you said, you can apply it in the workplace. You can interview people in the workplace. If you're an HR manager or you're interviewing for a position, it's a great tool to identify whether this person is a potential leader or whether they're a follower. And if they're a follower, put them in the right department. If they're a leader, encourage them to go into this department. And, they can lie, but like I said to you, you can get found out very easily because once you've got this system in your phone or in your
Mm.
possession, you're able to ask the questions that identify those traits that the person can fall down
It's
on.
the mission of Circology.
Yeah, I would love it to be my legacy. I've always said I'd love to leave something that my kids remember me by, and my wife, obviously. And if I do leave this planet, it will be something I would love to leave the world. That's my gift. If it works for people, great. If it works for one person, that's satisfying for me. Certainly worked for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I say to people that people say to me, look, this thing, does it really work? So one question, I've coached four psychologists, two psychotherapists, and a couple of life coaches.
Okay.
Coach them in their dating. Every single one of them has said the same thing. At the beginning, yeah, really? Does this thing? And then I say, apply it and see for yourself. And then all of them have come back and gone, wow, this is so powerful. I didn't think this thing that's so simple
Hmm.
could work. And the nice thing about that, the affirmation from my point of view, is this. If you're not sure about it, test it. Test it with your family, your friends, your brother, your sister, whatever. Don't have to just test it with dating. When you get that answer, you can go onto my website, input it there. Bear with me because I can't get back to everybody, and I will send you something that will prove that you will be shocked at how accurate it is because you know your brother, you know your sister, you know your husband or what. And by the way, I do get couples that I meet, and it affirms sometimes not just why they're together, but what issues they've got and how they
Hmm.
fix them. Because you know what? You still can apply your choice, find your husband's choice, look at the two qualities,
Okay.
understand the dynamics, and apply them. Because the two of my coaches that I've helped use my circus question to directly apply it to couples therapy because
Okay.
they're able to take those and understand the imbalance, which is causing the friction, which is helping them identify putting it right.
Final message, Andreas, to us, to the audience, directly from you, dating coach, master of Circology. What is your word to us?
Try it. Ask the question, try it and see. Don't
Bold.
believe me. Don't believe me. Just try it. You might be surprised, and you'll be very surprised that you know someone. You're probably thinking, okay, I know they're probably going to say lion tamer, and they come out with something. I had an interesting one once, and I'll leave you with this. A friend who was a close friend, he said to me, "What are you working on?" And I said, I was explaining to him what I was working on. He said, "Oh, can you tell me?" And I asked him the question, and he said, this guy is a very masculine guy. I would be, he laughed. He really laughed, like belly laughed. And he said, I don't know if I should tell you this. I said, what? He said, I see myself in a leotard, a sparkly leotard, and I'm swinging and I'm letting go. And someone is catching me on the other side. I said, someone. He goes, I don't know if it's a woman or a man. And I said, okay, so you're the flyer jumping. And he said, yeah. And he said, Jesus, what does that say? Does it sound gay or something? And I said, no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. You're a man. He's a man's man, yeah. And he was laughing. And he said, Jesus. I said, why did it come into your head? He said, I just did. And I said, explain to him his role in the relationship. And he said, exact. And I knew his wife. And I
Mm.
said, I know that we'll use that term. She wears the pants.
Mm.
She
Yeah.
wears the pants in the relationship. He's a man's man, but she wears the pants. She's the catcher.
Okay.
And he said that's a perfect analogy of where we are. We talk about everything, we share everything,
Hmm.
but she's my rock, my reliability. She's the person that I go to when I need to, because I'm a little bit immature, he said. I'm still that geeky guy that likes to play games and stuff. And she's the one that grounds me. And my analogy, he said, that's perfect. But it's funny that he saw himself in a feminine role. You get me?
It's showing how women are really wonderfully powerful inside. How often we take away that faith, that belief that we are strong and we can make any choice we really want.
Is when a
Mm.
woman picks something that's on the masculine spectrum, for example, clown, they are in touch with their strengths like a man is: competition,
Mm.
risk, entrepreneurship, the ability to be autonomous, to be, all the strengths that a man we associate with a masculine essence are at that end of the spectrum. It
Okay.
doesn't mean you're not feminine. It just means that you can amplify those when you need to, and you're comfortable in that masculine.
This word try it, it's so strong in terms of if we don't try, it means we give a power of a fear to hold us back.
Mm.
Either this is walk away from the relationship, walk away from work, go and find, go and create your vision reality as you wish, but you think you have not enough money. Everything is possible to be overcome only when you try it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only when you try it. Andreas, thank you so much. We really made a wonderful interview, and I
You.
have no doubts people will enjoy it. And especially you shared your man experience from your life and from the work you did with clients. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
the dating subject is a hot subject for many of us. And
Yeah.
associating that with the circus brings some fun. So we should have some distance to each other.
That's the key,
Not
by the way. Have fun.
exactly.
Eat with a smile.
Absolutely. And act wise. Thank you, Andreas, and have a wonderful week ahead.
Thank you very much, Magdalena. Pleasure
Thank you.
being.